This is circle time. We can all see each other. I can see Libby. I can see Luana. Have a look around. Can everyone see everyone?
Yeah.
Before we start, who can fold their arms and smile at me if you can remember the rules of circle time? Libby?
Yes, we listen to each other.
We have to listen to each other. Is there a rule about when we pass around?
Yeah.
What's that rule, Libby?
A ball.
We sometimes use a ball, sometimes we use a puppet. But what happens if you're holding?
If you're holding ball, you can speak.
And what does everyone else have to do?
Listen.
They have to listen to you. Sophie, how do you show people good listening?
By looking at them.
You do. And I can see that some of you are listening to me by looking at me. You are. Well done, Luana. You're looking at me. And Tyler, and Lawrence, and Samuel. You're showing me good listening by looking at me. To start off with, I've got something very special and important in this box. And I want us to pass it around. When it comes to you, I want you to have a quick. When it comes to you, I want you to have a quick look inside and see there's something that's very special and important. But I don't want you to tell us what it is, Luana. I just want you to have a look. Like this. So I'm going to put that under there. And I'm going to start off giving it I'm going to start off with Tristan. So have a look what's inside my special box. Well done, actually. You've got a long one. And something very special and important. What can you see when you look inside? Can you see? Yeah, but what's in the mirror? And we're all, everyone sit down. I'm going to put the box down now. We're all very special and important to us, everybody. Do you know what I want to do? I want to play a little game before we have a look at our picture. And this game is called Oranges and Lemons. And we practice this game. When I say oranges, you have to stand up and find a new chair. Heidi, how are we going to find a new chair? Are we going to run?
No. Walk. More slowly.
That's right, we're going to walk. So the first one I'm going to do is oranges. Stand up and walk. I've got photos, I've got lots. And I'm going to give them to you once you're sitting nicely, just like Gabriel, like Heidi and Tyler. And I want you to share them. So if I'm sharing with Luana and Tyler, I'm going to hold it like this. Can you see, Luana? Can you see, Tyler? And if I give you a photo, I want you to share it like this. I don't want you to hold it like this. I want you to share it and ask them. Can you see? Okay, and stop and look this way, because I've got some questions. We can all see the same boy. But, do you want to know who the boy is? I know who he is. This boy is called Tom. And Tom has learnt a new song at school. And it's such a good song, Kenzie, that he's decided to draw a picture. Can you see his picture? It's a yellow picture. And then, when he gets home, he takes his picture up to his mum. And he says, like this, he says, Mummy, this is my picture. Now I've got a question. How do you think Tom feels? Excited? He might be a bit excited. I'm thinking of a word that begins to wipe it off and give it to me. Oh, and I'm going to put it back into the box. And I'm going to put the lid on. If you didn't have a turn, the next time we'll play it, we'll make sure we let you have a turn. Okay? I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to put it away under my chair, because now it's time for us to go. So let's use it nicely. So in reception, we try and use lots of visual, lots of audio, lots of kinesthetic resources. So we had pictures today. I tried to make every child be able to look at a picture for them to be able to use. So therefore it's easier to talk about, rather than, I think as you go up the years, you can kind of tell the children or explain the situation to children, and they'll be able to keep what you've explained to them mentally and think about it and process it. With children, I think it's more to do with drama and role play, and very often I'll have two puppets acting out a scenario, showing one of them being happy or one of them being sad, and you have to think about their home experiences as well. So you have to try and give them prompts. So for today we was doing proud, and it's very hard for a child to think on their own why they might be proud. So you have to try and think what would make them proud at home, and then try and say, oh, but what about when you do a good story, what does mummy say to you, and how does that make you feel? So we get our plans from the SEALs, and then we adapt it for, first of all we adapt it for our school, for the time frame and for what works, and then we adapt it for our class. So for my class, we're actually getting quite good at learning how to sit still. I adapt it as in, I don't tell them the rules, I ask them to tell me the rules. I try to introduce a game at the beginning, otherwise it's very monotonous and they have to sit still. So I try and introduce a game which involves a lot of movement. So today I played Oranges and Lemons, which gets them to swap places as well, so they're not always sitting next to their best friend, who they might want to talk to more than they want to listen to the rest of the class. And I'll try and introduce the game at the end. We just try and adapt the plans to best suit our class. Sometimes there's not enough pictures or not enough visual, audio, kinesthetic resources in the plan for the children to be able to access it. The one picture that I had today of Proud was from the SEALS resource pack, which was just one example of being proud, and I wanted to show different examples of being proud, which is why I introduced the PowerPoint. So I recommend adapting the plans to best suit your classes, and to try and look for other resources as well that would help support your lesson. One of the main problems is getting the children to listen to each other, and when you're doing rounds, such as I feel proud when, it's very hard for them to wait for 29 other children to say what they're going to say. It's harder for the ones who speak first, because then they've had their go and they don't really want to wait, and it's very hard to listen to 29 other children. Other problems are children repeat each other, so they'll hear what one child has said and they'll think that's the answer, or that got a positive response, so that must be what I say. So then they repeat each other, and it's hard to know when to jump in and to break that up, because you don't want to stop them from talking. If they're happy to say something, even if it's anything, they're still contributing, which is quite nice. Other problems are some children need a lot longer to speak. Some children know exactly what they want to say straight away. Other children need 30 seconds of looking at you and smiling before they feel confident enough to say what they're going to say. The benefits of circle time are that they listen to each other a lot more, and in a way that's kind of a growing up skill. It's learning to have a conversation, learning that you do have to listen to what the person before has said. The benefits for children who don't normally speak out in lessons such as maths
or literacy, or at story time, they get the chance to speak, they get to be heard, and the rest of the class listen to them, so it builds up their confidence. And from September to now, I've had 4 children who haven't felt confident to speak out, who come now, they do feel confident to speak out. At the beginning, in September, it was really hard to get the quiet ones to talk. Even when I was holding the conch or the ball, they didn't know what to say, or they just look and smile, or they just become closed up and look down, just from where it's quite scary to have 29 other children looking at you, waiting for you to say something. As the months have gone by, I think they've understood that when we sit in a circle, it doesn't really matter so much what you say, it's just the fact that you do get a chance to speak. So now even some of the quieter ones are speaking out, which is really nice to see. The confident children, the ones that are really good at speaking in circle time, tend to pick up off each other, and it's got to the point now where I can ask them what the rules are. I can ask them extended questions such as, have you ever felt like this one time before? So in today's lesson I was able to ask Sophie if she had ever felt proud before.
When you do a good piece of work, you might feel proud. Do you know what that word means, Sophie? Sophie, can you think of any other time where you feel proud?
I like sitting down in a circle and everyone being able to look at each other. It feels very comfortable and very homely, and circle time's a lot in reception to do with having fun, and it's meant to be a time that we all enjoy, and I think they all do.